DraftKings.com. By Empire City Casino, Manhattan's closest casino. Your luck starts here. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit Geico.com for a free rate quote. And by Verizon, don't miss a moment of Mets baseball on the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network, only from Verizon. Well, the Mets have enjoyed yet another visit to Baltimore, a win yesterday. Their 9th straight over the Orioles, and they try and get out of town with a sweep. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Camden Yards. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets play the back end of a 2-game series against the Orioles. Mets won last night. A couple of home runs from Curtis Granderson. He had a so-so first year as a Met. He had an iffy start to this season, but Granderson's just having a terrific year.
Well, like we said, I think this is what Sandy Alderson envisioned when he signed Granderson. It's been a year and a half for him to finally, I think, feel comfortable in a Mets outfit in the National League. 22 home runs now on the year. That's tied for 9th in the National League. He's hit 9 since the All-Star break, scored 16 runs in the 16 games he's played in August. He's done a terrific job as well as playing wonderfully in the field.
Saw that nice catch he made last night to help out Tyler Clippard as the Mets won the opening game of this series 5-3. Noah Syndergaard will take them out for the Mets tonight. A close-up look on his early inning troubles when we come back. Fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily fantasy partner of the New York Mets. Enter promo code NYM for free entry. Noah Syndergaard will pitch for the Mets tonight. It's been a terrific rookie season for Syndergaard. He's gotten better and better as the year has gone on, but he's had first-inning troubles. He's given up a lot of damage in the first inning each of his last 3 starts.
Well, he's giving it up, and you can see the graphic that's going to come up on fastballs early. In his last 3 starts, he's given up 4 home runs in the first inning and getting hurt with the fastball. The last start against Colorado, where he got off to the rugged start, Terry Collins had a little chat with him in between innings and said hey, they're on your fastball and you're going to have to learn to pitch. And what I've noticed, Gary, is, and Ronnie also, a little bit of a tick down on his velocity and his fastball. And, you know, when you're throwing 98 and all of a sudden you're throwing 97 or 96, that's a big difference for a hitter. A little more time to kind of measure up your pitcher. And you've got to mix in more of your pitches. And he's got great secondary pitches. So I thought his last start against Colorado, getting off to the bad start, and then all of a sudden going to his breaking ball and finishing strong and getting the win, his 7th win of the season. It's all a learning year for him. He's a rookie. He's 22 years old. It's his first year in the big leagues where he's throwing a lot of innings. You're going to have periods where you lose a little velocity, and he's got to learn to pitch when he goes through those spells.
And he's looking for his first road win, and tonight Syndergaard's going to try and alter his warm-up philosophy. He's going to start a little later, finish a little later, so he's not sitting around before that first inning.
Well, again, whatever it takes, but it's a young guy out there, and you got to hope it doesn't get in the back of his head. Hey, I haven't won on the road. You got a 22-year-old kid. So it's just a matter of him getting his first win on the road, his first major league win, and he'll be home free.
So it's Syndergaard for the Mets tonight. Ubaldo Jimenez will pitch for the Baltimore Orioles as the Mets go for a 2-game sweep. Watch out there. Don't hurt yourself. First pitch coming up from Camden Yards. By State Farm. Today's State Farm agent of the game is Steve Boyle of Connecticut. Contact Steve at agentsteveboyle.com. By Hyundai. Hyundai invites you to get in your comfort zone with the most advanced Elantra yet. Visit your Hyundai dealer today. And by Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. Get to Citi Field for your chance to see the Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band this Friday and Saturday at Citi Field as part of the Jekyll and Hyde World Tour. Purchase your tickets at Mets.com/ZBB. Here's your Mets starting lineup tonight, brought to you by Geico. Yoenis Cespedes' right shoulder is a little sore, so he's going to DH tonight. That puts Michael Conforto in left and Juan Lagares in center for the Mets. Juan Uribe gets the start at third base. And Daniel Murphy moves back to second in the daily Mets lineup shuffle tonight against the veteran right-hander Ubaldo Jimenez.
Well, Jimenez 9-7 on the year, as you can see the Toyota numbers there. Had this big years in Colorado back in 2010, won 19 ball games the year prior, 15, then kind of fell off a cliff, shipped on to Cleveland, then came here to Baltimore, did not have a great year last year, but 9-7 right now, serviceable right-hander. And we'll take a look at your Orioles Coors Light defense, and we mentioned how they have 5 Gold Glovers on this defense, but their defense let them down last night in the ballgame. Jonathan Scope had a really rough night in the field. Caleb Joseph gets the start. He did not play last night. He's behind the plate. And there's the man of the hour.
Matt Wieters is yet to start back-to-back games since coming back from Tommy John surgery. And right now the Orioles are carrying 3 catchers, and Joseph's done a nice job filling in, so he gets the start tonight. Well, here's Granderson, who set the tone last night on the second pitch thrown by Kevin Gausman. He hit one over the scoreboard fence in right field and hit 2 home runs on the night. His 3rd multiple home run game of the year, and Granderson continues to compile big numbers, and he loves hitting in this ballpark. And before the first pitch is thrown, the infield is in a shift.
The big shift.
31-year-old Ubaldo Jimenez throws the first pitch of the night, and it's inside to Granderson, and we're underway.
Sorry, Gary, I didn't mean to step on you there. Watch, Jimenez curls his pitching hand when he gets behind, ready to deliver the ball. Very unusual, kind of like Drysdale.
Granderson drives one right at Chris Davis, and that's the first out of the night.
No, hang with them. But you know what? You'd rather hit a line drive at somebody than hit a weak ground ball to get your bat busted, because you know you had a good at bat.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Daniel Murphy, who had a couple of doubles and 2 RBIs last night. Murph continues to move up on the Mets all-time doubles list.
And both doubles down the left field line by Murph. And I love it when Murph uses the opposite field. He's become more of a pull hitter, like we all do, and we become more experienced and veteran hitters. But I love it when he uses the opposite field.
Jimenez quickly ahead of him 0-2. Murph now has 216 doubles, 6 behind Jose Reyes for 3rd on the Mets all-time list. There's Cespedes on deck. And the 0-2 from Ubaldo, low and inside, 1-2. Ubaldo Jimenez, now 31 years old, first signed out of the Dominican Republic with Colorado back in 2001. Murphy hits one in the air to deep right field. Back toward the fence goes Parra, looking up, and it's out of here! Daniel Murphy puts the Mets on top. Murphy with his 9th home run of the year, and the Mets take an early 1-0 lead. Well, last night it was Granderson, the first batter of the game. Tonight it's Murphy, the second batter, who gives the Mets the early lead.
Down and in slider, I believe. Yes, sir. And not a bad pitch. Daniel real quick inside. He rushed his bat through there real quick. And you get the ball in the air here and hit it halfway decent. It's going to get out of this ballpark.
As Cespedes takes a strike. Well, for Ubaldo Jimenez, who has struggled mightily since the All-Star break, the home run ball has been a big problem for him, and he gives up another to give the Mets the first run. 0-2 to Cespedes. Jimenez in 6 starts since the All-Star break, a 7.39 ERA, and he's now given up 8 home runs in 32 innings since the break. That'll get you in trouble. Cespedes DHing today. And he takes below the knees 1-2. when Jimenez first came up, he was throwing 97, 98 miles an hour in Colorado. He is much more of a 90 to 91 kind of guy now. Throws a lot of splitters and sliders. There's the split, and it's 2-2 to Cespedes. He had a good year in Cleveland 2 years ago, went 13-9, 3.30. That won him a 4-year, $50 million contract with the Orioles, but then he was awful last year. 6-9, 4.81. Was better the first part of this year, but he seems to have hit a wall. That's away to Cespedes, and it's 3-2. And this is a big problem for the Orioles. They just don't have frontline starting pitching. They've got a great bullpen, a solid offense, very good defense. But Buck Showalter has really got to craft his way through this rotation. Slowly hit. Tough play from Machado. He can put this in his pocket. An infield hit for Cespedes.
Swing and bunt. And we know Cespedes can fly. And there's just no play here.
Machado playing deep behind the bag, and the Gold Glover knew he had no play.
No, he can fly.
So the Mets' second hit in this opening inning, and now Lucas Duda, who returned to the lineup last night after missing 6 games with a bad back, went 1 for 5. And he fouls back the first pitch fastball. Keep in mind that Ubaldo Jimenez is one of the worst in baseball at holding base runners. Now, the Mets are not a big base stealing team, but you have to think going into this game that their game plan includes taking the opportunity when it presents itself. Cespedes only 5 stolen bases on the season, 1 as a Met. It's a good breaking ball by Jimenez, and it's 0-2.
Jimenez has always been a guy that walks a lot of people, and this year comes into the game with a 2.9 walks per 9 innings. And that's a career low for him, but still up. That's almost 3 per 9.
Much better than the 5.5 last year. Well, he's been ahead of 3 straight hitters. He gave up the home run to Murphy on a 1-2 pitch. Got ahead of Cespedes. Gave up the infield hit. Now he's 0-2 on Duda with Juan Uribe on deck. Interesting because you have Jimenez and Syndergaard, and neither one of them does a very good job of stopping the running game. So 2 teams that are not generally inclined to steal might have other ideas tonight. Jimenez has given up 17 stolen bases this year. That's tied for the most in the American League. One-two to Lucas. Cespedes runs. The throw by Joseph is not in time, and Cespedes has the stolen base, his 6th of the year.
Easily stole. Called 3rd strike for Lucas. I don't know what he was looking for. And you can see from the stretch how slow to home plate Jimenez is.
Well, you mentioned the curl that he does behind his back. That really slows down the whole delivery. So 2 out. Mets have a runner in scoring position, and now Juan Uribe. Uribe sat last night. This is his 20th game as a Met. He's hitting just 169 in a Mets uniform, but 4 of his 11 hits have been home runs.
He has been playing a terrific third base. And he's gotten some big hits, even though the average doesn't reflect. And watch the motion, how slow. Oh, that's a lot of time.
And all the time that Cespedes needed to steal the base. So he's in scoring position with 2 out. And Uribe takes away, and it's 2-0. Uribe's got good numbers against Jimenez, 5 for 14 in his career. It's looking more and more as though David Wright's going to rejoin the team in Philadelphia on Monday. And the Mets are going to have a lot of available infielders at that point. Uribe's been doing a lot of the third base play in Wright's absence recently. 3-0 now to Juan with Travis d'Arnaud on deck. But Terry Collins said tonight, he said, look, at this point, David Wright is not going to be an everyday player, at least not until his back allows, and that may not be till next season.
Back in his legs.
Uribe takes a strike, 3-1.
You can do all the running you want to do, Gary, but there's really no substitute for getting out there on a hot day and standing on your feet, 9-inning ball game, on and off the field.
3-1 to Uribe. And he throws a 3-1 slider and misses with it for ball 4. So Uribe is on, and there are 2 aboard for Travis d'Arnaud.
It almost looked like he wanted nothing to do with Uribe.
Well, it's turning into a hard-working inning for Jimenez. 21 pitches already, and now Travis d'Arnaud. By the way, for Jimenez, including tonight now, he's given up 12 first-inning runs in his last 5 starts. And trying to avoid further damage here.
Nice rainbow right there.
But it didn't rain. Grounded to the shortstop Hardy, and he gets the force play to end the inning.
Pot of gold again to that rainbow. That's so they told me.
Last night we had the tarp on with no rain. Tonight we have a rainbow with no rain. What's going on? What's going on is Daniel Murphy, his 9th home run gives the Mets a 1-0 lead as Noah Syndergaard takes the mound. Last night, Caleb Joseph catches as Matt Wieters sits. Orioles came in a red-hot team. They were held in check by Jacob deGrom last night, and Noah Syndergaard tries to do the same tonight.
Going for his 8th win, right up there for the Rookie of the Year honors. He's got a lot of competition. That young Heston that threw the no-hitter against the Mets is one of his competition, but what, 8 more starts for Noah? Got a chance to win 14 games, maybe 13 games. Not bad for a rookie.
Probably won't make all 8 of those starts. Probably will get skipped at least once in September, but his credentials continue to grow. Manny Machado leads off for the Orioles. Machado 1 for 4 last night. And he drives one to right center field, and that's in for a base hit, and it'll go all the way back to the wall. Machado pulls in at second base with a first pitch double, and Noah Syndergaard already struggling in the first inning.
Well, you know what? First pitch fastball hitting. Fastball away, and he does get it away. But look at the velocity on the pitch. It was at 95 according to the gun. We're used to seeing early in the ball game when Syndergaard's throwing 98, 97. So, like I mentioned in the open, a little bit of a fallback of his drop of his velocity, and that's the difference.
Here's Gerardo Parra, who homered against deGrom last night for the only run that Jacob gave up. Parra has been a huge addition for these Orioles since being acquired at the deadline from the Brewers. Pushes a bunt and it goes foul, and that's a little hard to understand, the way Parra's been swinging the bat. Last 5 games, he's 11 for 23 with 3 home runs.
Well, I certainly don't want Parra. I don't like bunting early in the game anyway, period. He's a left-hand hitter, a veteran hitter. He knows how to get a pitch that he can pull.
Adam Jones on deck. Chris Davis behind him. Tough top half of the batting order for these Orioles. Machado at second and nobody out. This was Parra's home run last night against DeGrom.
No, the only blemish on DeGrom. Otherwise, it would have been 7 2/3 scoreless.
As it is, he dropped his ERA to 1.98, second in the major leagues. Parra hits the curveball down the left field line. He's got a base hit. Machado will be held up at third. And just like that, as Uribe makes the dive and Machado gets back. First and third and nobody out.
Well, there's a breaking ball and a good one from the back door. And that's just good hitting. Sometimes you got to tip your hat. You make a good pitch, those hitters are paid too. And you got a red hot Parra and he hits a good tough pitch. And after last night, I think the third base coach, that's Bobby Dickerson, is going to hold up the runner. Conforto made a really nice throw in yesterday's ball game.
J.J. Hardy trying to score on a base hit in the 5th inning to keep the Orioles off the board. So here's Adam Jones, and Syndergaard knocked back on his heels. 3 pitches in, first and third and nobody out. Jones 0 for 4 last night. .280 with 22 home runs. Takes the fastball away for ball 1. And you have to wonder with Syndergaard at this point. He's had these first inning problems. He's not won on the road this year. And you wonder whether that starts getting in your head a little bit.
Well, it can. He's a 22-year-old youngster here. But he has shown the ability to right the ship in midstream.
Aimed that pitch and it's outside 2-0. Well, in Tampa Bay, he just got rocked. He gave up 4 runs and 6 hits in the first inning. Then against Colorado, the last start, he gave up 2 home runs in the first inning.
But, you know, that start in Tampa Bay, he had a string of 7 straight great starts. He was due for a rough one.
Now he's behind Adam Jones 2-0 with Chris Davis on deck. There goes the runner. The pitch outside. Darno's throw is not in time. It's a stolen base for Parra, his 10th of the year.
So I think we're going to see both clubs taking advantage of inability of Syndergaard and Jimenez to hold runners on. They're slow home. And right now, you just want Syndergaard to focus on throwing strikes.
Well, the Orioles are last in the American League in stolen bases. That's only their 32nd, but obviously both teams see an opportunity against these 2 pitchers. 3-0 to Jones, and that's away ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So a huge mess for Syndergaard. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Chris Davis coming to the plate.
And we'll take a quick look at the Mets' Lexus defense. Conforto, Lagares in center field tonight. DH goes to Cespedes. Darno is always back there every day due to Murphy, Flores, Uribe in the infield.
So here's Davis, who couldn't touch DeGrom last night. He went 0 for 3 and struck out 3 times against DeGrom. Then drew a walk against Tyler Clippard his last time up. 34 home runs, second in the American League. 89 RBIs, second in the American League. And he has 2 grand slams already this season.
And DeGrom got him out upstairs, and you notice Darno with the target up high in the strike zone. Davis is a low ball hitter, a dead low ball hitter.
Davis lays off the changeup. 1-1. Machado at third, he doubled. Parra at second, he singled. Adam Jones at first, he walked. After the Mets got a run on a Daniel Murphy home run in the top of the inning. The Orioles trying to respond in kind.
Double play is what the pitcher needs. Pitcher's best friend right here in so many ways.
Jonathan Scope, the on deck batter. And Davis takes a rip. 96 from Syndergaard, 1-2.
He threw that ball right by him.
Well, Chris Davis has struck out 151 times this year, with more than a quarter of a season to go. One, two. And he just got a piece of that.
Barely. I think he's the all-time leader in the amount of dip he puts in that lower lip. I've never seen anybody put so much dip in a lower lip in my life.
One, two from Syndergaard. He fouls back that high fastball. So again, a little better read on Syndergaard than he did on DeGrom last night.
I know he's struggling to get his rhythm there. He's in trouble right out the get-go, but I'd love to see a hard curveball bounce in the dirt here. Defense in a pull situation. Flores up the middle at short. Nice try.
And a good block by d'Arnaud to keep Machado where he is at third base.
That ball never started out in the strike zone. That's why he didn't fish. Now it's time to go. Okay, you tried it to see if you can get a strikeout. Now it's time to go upstairs with a fastball.
Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming from Syndergaard to Davis. Fouls back another one.
And he's throwing hard now at 97 on that one. He wants a strikeout.
Well, he figures if he gets a strikeout here, then the double play can get him out of the inning. But he's got a lot of heavy lifting to get to that point. Again, the 2-2. Too high, and a full count. Well, now Syndergaard painted a little deeper into that corner. Bases loaded, nobody out. 3-2 to Chris Davis. Orioles got their last two runs last night on bases loaded walks by Familia. 3-2 coming. And he struck him out with a curveball.
What a gutty pitch that was.
With the bases loaded, he risked throwing the breaking ball, and Davis goes down swinging for the first out.
Well, not the same one he laid off the two pitches prior, but so figured he'd get a fastball there. 3-2.
How about d'Arnaud just throwing his body at that pitch to keep that runner at third?
Nicely done.
So one out. Bases remain loaded for Scope, who had a miserable night last night. Went 0 for 4 at the plate. Committed 2 errors and made another misplay in the field. Watch d'Arnaud on this.
Oh, he got it with his bare hand. Did you see that? The back of his hand?
And Scope swings on a curveball out of the strike zone.
There you go. Nice pitch. That is such a good curveball, Gare.
Well, it was Terry Collins in spring training last year who labeled it the hook from hell.
Appropriate.
And d'Arnaud blocks another one. A ball and a strike to Scope. Travis d'Arnaud has had to do some extra work here in the first inning to keep the Orioles off the board. Machado, Parra, and Jones, the base runners, with one out. Schoop, just 23 years old, having a good offensive year since coming back from knee surgery. And he takes the fastball below the knees, 2-1. Young Tom Woodring is the home plate umpire tonight. Steve Clevenger, the DH, waits on deck. And now 3-1.
Don't like that call at all. I don't think Dan Warthen does either. Now, got to throw the fastball. Let's go.
Well, he got no choice now. Behind 3-1 with the bases loaded. And Schoop fouls it back.
Got a little help there. That ball ran inside. Might have been ball 4.
Well, Syndergaard's already dodged one bullet by striking out Davis on a 3-2 curve. Now he's 3-2 on Schoop. Fouls away the fastball. Well, Syndergaard started his warm-ups later tonight to try and not sit around as much before taking the mound for the bottom of the first inning. And he has been tossed right into the fire in the first inning of this game. Again, the 3-2.
Toward the middle of the diamond, Murphy's there for the step and the fire. Got him! Double play, sign retired. The Orioles have the bases loaded and nobody out, and Syndergaard pitches his way out of the jam. Murphy starts the 4-4-3 double play, and the Orioles are turned aside.
What a job of extricating himself by Syndergaard. 1-0 Mets after 1. Murphy homered for the Mets. Mets left 2 on base, and then Syndergaard worked out of a bases loaded jam. Now the second, and Michael Conforto takes a strike from Ubaldo Jimenez. Conforto 1 for 4 last night, making his 16th start. You see the numbers there. 52 at bats deep in his career, hitting .231. And he checks his swing and 1 around. It's 0-2. Conforto, Flores, and Lagares 7, 8, and 9 in the Mets batting order. The Mets' last DH game of the year. Their final 42 will be played under regular baseball rules.
Wonderful. We can't wait. 2 more series after this, Garrett. Right? DH?
No. Those are home. No DH.
Oh, right. Oh, that's right. What am I thinking?
Well, that was the point I was trying to make.
Knucklehead.
On the inside corner, Jimenez gets Conforto looking.
So Conforto's been getting pitched to rather tough. He's learning here. The school of hard knocks.
It's interesting, for a while everybody was backdooring him. Now they're trying to bust him inside.
This series, they came out and threw him inside. So particularly last night, they pounded him in early.
Now Wilmer Flores. Wilmer 1 for 4 last night. Scored a couple of runs. Playing shortstop for the second straight night. And he drills one foul. It's an important exercise every day to check the lineup card, not only for us, but even for the players, because the Mets are so loaded with guys who can be in the lineup, and that's going to become more difficult to parse out when David Wright comes back next week.
Well, David's not going to play every day. They're going to ease him back in.
Wilmer lifts one to right center. Jones and Parra takes charge. 2 out. And Terry said again today, he's going to play Flores on days he thinks he needs offense. He's going to play Tejada on days he thinks he needs defense. Those two are both going to play shortstop coming down the stretch of the year.
I think it's made managing more fun for Terry. He's got a lot more options, a lot more things to think about, and it's keeping his players active.
Yeah, exactly. It's put more urgency in some of the guys who are playing part-time, including the guy at the plate right now. Juan Lagares has really turned it on. That last homestand, he went 8 for 20 with 4 extra base hits. Most of that against left-handed pitching, getting a start tonight against the right-hander because Cespedes has the sore shoulder and is DHing. Lagares up to 260 on the year.
Well, there's your classic example right there. Uribe, always in conversation on the bench, involved, making people smile. Sage advice. I think he's just been, his value goes beyond his performance in the field. They just love guys like that give.
Well, he's a guy who can elicit smiles off the field, but plays the game the right way on the field, and is a great example in that respect as well. Runs hard, plays hard, doesn't take things for granted. Lagares strikes out on the curveball. So Jimenez has his third strikeout in the 1-2-3 second. 1-0 Mets. An app for live baseball. At bat, it's up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Home second inning. Steve Clevenger leads off against Noah Syndergaard, who got in and out of big-time trouble in the first. Clevenger 1 for 4 last night, and again serving as the DH tonight. And he takes a curveball for a strike.
Nice curve on the back door there. He's got such a great curve. Such a beautiful motion, too, Garrett.
J.J. Hardy on deck, then Henry Urrutia. 0-2 to Clevenger. Do you hear about Noah's cinematic aspirations?
Tell me. I'm all ears.
You know Amy Schumer is out with her movie Trainwreck. That's hooked into right field, and right there is Granderson, and he makes the grab one away. And Trainwreck features LeBron James in a prominent role. And Noah took note of the tall Mr. James in Schumer's movie, and he tweeted to Amy saying that if she needed a tall athlete for her next movie, that he would be very happy to serve in that role.
Bold and daring.
Well, for a guy with, no experience in front of the camera. Maybe you could give him some pointers on being an athletic thespian.
I suggest that he focus on throwing strikes. That'll all come later.
J.J. Hardy 1 for 3 last night.
Oh, good movement.
Well, we talked about Syndergaard and his over-reliance on his fastball in the first inning in recent starts. A little under 2/3 fastballs in that first inning tonight. And he gets Hardy on 3 pitches, chasing a high fastball. That's his second strikeout.
That is picture perfect. High riser with 2 strikes after throwing. He's got a fastball today, Gary, through the Hardy that just sunk. So, very impressive. Keep an eye on that. Seems like a different pitcher out there, doesn't he? A second inning out of the first.
Well, that's been the case with Syndergaard. When he's gotten past the first inning, he's been almost unstoppable. Here's Urrutia, the left fielder, who went 1 for 3 and drove in a run last night. 28-year-old Cuban defector. Just 15 at-bats deep in his season. And that's on the inside corner, 1-1. Remember when he got to the big leagues, and that's what they said. They said he would not pitch inside, and we've seen him develop into a guy who will use both sides of the plate. Changeup misses. 2-1.
As I said, when they're making all these assessments of him, you're talking about a 20, 21-year-old kid. Everything takes time to become a polished pitcher. Not everybody does it.
Hit hard. Short hop by Flores. Side retired. Syndergaard throws a 1-2-3 second. After 2, 1-0 New York. sign with the director's name on it.
Come on, Bill, you're better than that.
Curtis Granderson lined out to open the game. He leads off in the third, and he takes the curveball for a strike from Jimenez. 1-1. Granderson, Murphy, and Cespedes second time around the Mets batting order. Mets got a run in the first on Daniel Murphy's 9th home run of the year. And Jimenez misses with a splitter. 2-1. Mets beat Jimenez back in New York in their series in early May. Gave up 3 runs in 4 innings in that start. And gets the slider in. It's 2-2. Just missed. Joseph was ready to throw that ball down to third.
Tom Woodring is having a very erratic start here to this Wago.
3-2 to Granderson. And it's foul back. Third inning is presented by your local Tri-State Audi dealers and the uncompromised Audi A3 sedan. Curtis Granderson has hit a home run every 11.1 at bats at Camden Yards. That's the best player of anybody who's ever played here. Toward the middle of the diamond, that's Machado, the only man on the left side, and a close play, but he gets him. That is a 5-3 put out in your scorecard.
Boy, it almost looks as if Machado could play shortstop.
No, he was a shortstop.
Jeez. He looked ranged to his left effortlessly.
Yeah, he's a tremendous defender. Guy who might win the next 10 or 12 Gold Gloves in the American League at third base. Didn't win it last year only because he was hurt most of the season. Here's Murphy, who hooked one over the scoreboard in right field for a home run in the first inning.
Slider down and in. Murph had to rush that swing a little bit. Well done.
For Murphy, that was only his second hit in 9 career at bats against Ubaldo Jimenez. Jimenez had a couple of good starts against the Mets early in his career when he was dominating in Colorado, but the Mets have had his number since. 2-4 lifetime with a 3.7 ERA and a good fastball there. Strikes out Murphy, his 4th strikeout of the night. 6 in a row retired by Jimenez. Check out our T-Mobile data. Strong fan of the game. That's pretty cute.
Well, they're all cute. Got his home uniform on. He's ready to slug.
At some point we might go for, poignant rather than cute, but I think cute usually wins out.
We'll go look something up in the thesaurus and see what comes up.
Cespedes had an infield hit his first time up and then stole the base. And Jimenez falls behind him 2-0. Mets don't think that Cespedes' shoulder is anything worrisome. This is just a one-day thing, DHing him so he can rest it.
Oh, he gave that changeup away.
That's a day off tomorrow in Denver.
Look at this. Oh, he didn't follow through. Nothing.
Swinging 3-0. And Hardy with the strong throw.
Oh, boy.
Just in time to get Cespedes side retired. Close play at first base. Jimenez is now retired 7 straight. Still 1-0 New York. Online source for Mets information. Get a recap of tonight's Mets-Orioles game as well as the latest Mets news and opinion on Mets Blog, presented by Citi, part of the SNY.TV blog network. You notice we didn't have a rain delay tonight, even though it didn't rain.
Well, they're being kind. Mets have got to get on an airplane and fly all the way to Denver, even though they got an off day tomorrow. About scheduled to get into 1:45 in the morning. Airports are a ton of miles away. They're not going to get to bed till around 3:30 in the morning.
We gained 2 hours.
Still
going to Mountain Time.
Still stinks. It's a long flight.
Here's Caleb Joseph, the number 9 hitter, leading off for the Orioles. Joseph has had a very good offensive year. 11 home runs, 43 runs driven in. He's made 74 starts this year because of all the injuries that Wieters has had, and he has proven to be a big boon for the Orioles after not hitting much at all last year. And Syndergaard quickly ahead of him 0-2. Caleb Joseph out of Lipscomb University. You know where Lipscomb University is?
No.
I think it's in Nashville. Have to look that up.
Who was a football player? Big Daddy Lipscomb.
Big Daddy Lipscomb. That's right.
Did he play with Detroit or was it Baltimore? Colts.
1-2 to Caleb Joseph. Manny Machado on deck. Gerardo Parra behind him. Folks in this town should know. All you have to do is watch the movie Diner to learn everything you need to know about the Baltimore Colts. Great Barry Levinson movie. 1-2 coming. Out to the right center field. Lagares back in the gap. Plenty of time to get there. 1 out. So after Syndergaard gave up a double, a single, and a walk to his first 3 hitters, he's now retired 6 in a row. And back to the top of the order to Manny Machado, who hit Syndergaard's first pitch of the night into right center for his 25th double of the year. Machado also has 25 home runs, and he's only 23 years old. There are only 3 other Orioles who've had a 25 home run season before they turned 24. Boog Powell, Eddie Murray, and Cal Ripken. It's pretty good company. This kid is going to be, if he isn't already, one of the best players in the game. He's been set back with a couple of different knee injuries. Was in the big leagues at age 20. But he has certainly hit his stride this year after a slow start. There's a strike at the knees. Good pitch by Syndergaard, 1-1. Machado lays off 2-1. Blows a good bubble at the plate.
Never like to chew anything. I couldn't multitask up there. That's a better way to say it.
You see more guys blowing bubbles in the field, not that many when they're waiting for a pitch.
Oh, good breaking ball.
Machado was the final out last night against Jeurys Familia. Familia thought he had him struck out previously on a check swing, didn't get the call, and then broke Machado's back, got him to ground out to end the game. Full count to him. And Syndergaard ran a couple of full counts in the first inning. He struck out Davis with a curveball, and he got Scope to ground into a double play. Now he's 3-2 on Machado with 1 out. And he gets him with a breaking ball. Well, Syndergaard not afraid to use that 3-2 hook.
Well, he's got a good one. And they're so geared on his fastball that he's throwing that thing at a high velocity. It's hard to lay off.
So 2 out and nobody on. 7 in a row set down by Noah. And here is Parra, who singled to left and stole a base in the first inning. Gerardo Parra, by any measure, having his best big league season at age 28. He's always been a good player, but he's taken it to a different level this year. And I was shocked that the Orioles were able to get him for so little, just a minor league pitcher. Good change up by Syndergaard to get ahead.
Well, all of a sudden, Noah is becoming a whole bag of tricks here.
Well, that
everything.
That was the game plan tonight, to diversify. Any good portfolio needs diversification.
That's right. There's a changeup grip right there. So what does that tell you? That's what he wanted to throw, that pitch. He had his mind made up. You don't want to be fumbling around in the glove, tipping your pitches.
Interesting back-to-back changeups to start the at-bat to Parra.
Fastball grip.
See the sweat on his arms there.
Yeah, you can.
It's a humid night here in Baltimore. And Parra lifts one to shallow left. Easy for Conforto. And that retires the side. Syndergaard set down 8 in a row after some early stumbles. Bill Webb indeed. Fourth inning, Lucas Duda leads off against Ubaldo Jimenez. Duda took a call, third strike, his first time up. And takes the first pitch slider for ball one. Duda, Uribe, and d'Arnaud for the Mets. And the triangle defense for the Orioles against Duda. And Jimenez gets him to move his feet. 2-0.
I would think that Jimenez's motion is a deceptive one that would tend to throw a hitter off. I'd have to get in the box to be 100% sure, but it's my feeling. It's peculiar, unorthodox.
That'll make it into the seats out of play. 2-1.
There's the leg kick, and then this little bit of a arm goes down. It's a little bit funky. I bet you he's one tick behind his normal delivery when a ball leaves a pitcher's hand because of that long take back with his pitching hand, or arm, I should say.
It's the curveball in for a strike, and I would think that the way he dangles it, you don't pick it up until late.
Right. So it's the kind of guy that would take you out of your rhythm. At least I'm speaking only about myself. I never liked unorthodox herky-jerky motions.
2-2 to Lucas. And a full count. Well, Jimenez burst on the scene in 2007 with the Rockies. Remember, they made that great run into the postseason, and he was a huge piece of that. He and Franklin Morales were the two young pitchers who just burst on the scene during that great drive by the Rockies. There's ball 4, and Duda's on with the leadoff walk. Second walk given up by Jimenez, who had retired 7 in a row.
Well, take another look at it. Watch his pitching arm as it comes down. You can see he kind of jerks it down, and it's out of the norm. It's nothing fluid is a good word. Well, that guy had a fluid motion.
Jim Palmer.
He had a beautiful motion. Everything in sync, much like Steve Carlton.
And he was straight over the top.
Yes, he was.
Uribe fouls one off. Well, the guy who Jimenez idolized as a kid, like most young pitchers in the Dominican, was Pedro Martinez. But he doesn't pitch anything like Pedro.
Well, not too many can.
The one thing he has in common with Pedro that's fouled off is that he has enormous hands, much bigger than your average pitcher.
The pitcher with the biggest hands that I faced was Jim Bibby with the Pirates.
I mean, look at those fingers.
Yeah, and J.R. Richards had just swallowed the ball.
Everything about him was big.
Yes. Really?
One and 2 to Uribe, who walked his first time up. Travis d'Arnaud waits on deck. That's got their run in the first inning on a Daniel Murphy home run. Syndergaard has made it stand up. Big rip by Uribe, and he's down on strikes. It's 5 strikeouts now for Ubaldo Jimenez. Tonight's Twisted But True Fact brought to you by Twisted Tea. Well, the warehouse beyond right field, the B&O warehouse, is the longest building, side to side, on the East Coast. 1,016 feet. Have we taken our tape measure out there to confirm that?
I believe them.
Okay. Now it's 1,000 feet long, but it's only 51 feet wide.
So
from the part that we can see to the back.
So it's rectangular.
It's narrow.
Yes.
But long. d'Arnaud into a force his first time up, and it's 0-2.
It's pretty. I like the backdrop, the setting, as Bill Webb would say. Bill likes his park because of the setting, and I agree. It's a nice setting here. I've seen better ballparks.
I like the setting in Pittsburgh better.
Oh, the setting in Pittsburgh.
I like the setting in San Francisco.
San Francisco, yes.
Or at Wrigley Field.
You know what's still terrific? Dodger Stadium after all these years with the mountains in the back and the palm trees. It's gorgeous.
Well, this was the first of its style, the retro ballparks. The one that opened shortly after this that I always really liked was the one in Cleveland, now known as Progressive Field. You never got to play there, unfortunately.
No, I didn't. But I got to play where Jim Brown played.
d'Arnaud lifts one down the line, and that's going to go foul and untouched. The other park that opened up shortly after Camden Yards was Coors Field in 1995, and I've always loved Coors Field. I mean, the altitude obviously makes it different, but I love the style of the ballpark and the rock pile out in center field, and you can see the mountains in the distance.
Well, the mountains are over the left field line.
Well, but, you know, the foothills.
Yeah.
The little mountains, not the big mountains.
The front range, right, as they call it. In Colorado,
where we'll be.
I'm going up in them Dar Mountains tomorrow. I'm going to drive up to Breckenridge and visit my oldest daughter and the grandkids on the off day.
There goes Duda. The pitch outside, the throw to second, and Duda is tagged out. Somehow, Jonathan Scope was able to make the leap and put the tag on Duda as he slid.
Lucas running amok.
Well, he got the scouting report, figured he could sneak one, but didn't work.
And he did get him on the shoulder before he touched the bag.
So 2-4 on the caught stealing.
Nice shot.
Second time Duda's been caught this year. He has not been successful. 2 out and nobody on. And d'Arnaud takes it wide, full count. (3-2). And it's low, ball 4 due to d'Arnaud's on with the 2-out walk. Second of the inning, third of the night for Jimenez, so that prolongs his inning and brings up Michael Conforto. Conforto took a call, third strike, his first time up. Speaking of Colorado, of course, the Nats are out in Colorado now after they put up 15 runs last night. Maybe that'll shake them free of their doldrums.
See, the Pirates got off quick.
Matt Williams last night put Jason Worth in the leadoff spot, and the Nats ran amok.
Big shift for Conforto because he has been pulling.
Which is interesting because he didn't come up to the big leagues pulling.
I'd like to see him use the left center field gap.
But you know, they're playing him to pull and they're pitching him inside. And now it's 3-0.
I'd turn him loose here. This ballpark.
Well, we saw Cespedes swinging 3-0 the last inning.
What the heck?
d'Arnaud at first and 2 out, and Conforto does swing 3-0. Boy, how many times does a guy with 50 at bats in the big leagues get a 3-0 hit sign?
I like Terry, what he does. We're on the same wavelength then.
It's like a Vulcan mind melt.
Oh. Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Hope it's the right hat. That's inside. Conforto's on with the walk. The third of the inning issued by Jimenez. Well, this is what Ubaldo does sometimes. We mentioned that his walks are way down from last year as Dave Wallace, the former Mets and now Orioles pitching coach, comes to the mound. Dave was the pitching coach for those Bobby Valentine teams that went to the postseason in '99 and 2000. And he's getting right in Jimenez's face there. Tiki Barber live in studio. He and Chris Carlin debate the latest news surrounding both the Giants and Jets as they gear up for the upcoming season on Loudmouths tomorrow at 5:30 only on SNY. Does that mean Tiki's getting the jump on you?
Tiki,
I told you need to get your audition tape in.
Oh, well. I know. The door was open, now it's shut.
That quick, huh? Gotta strike fast in this world. d'Arnaud at second, Conforto at first with 2 out. Now Flores, who flied to right his first time. And the breaking ball outside for ball 1. By the way, speaking of Dave Wallace, he and Terry Collins are the best of friends. Dave was Terry's pitching coach in the minor leagues back in the 80s, and they are the best of friends. There's a call, strike 1-1. That was in the Dodger organization. And they have maintained their relationship over the years. In fact, I heard a story, and I'm not 100% that it's sure it's true. I'm going to have to ask Terry about this. That Terry tried to hire Dave Wallace as his pitching coach when he first became a manager in Houston, and he was told he couldn't do it because the management didn't want his best friend on the staff.
Well, that's the difference in a lot of today's game. General managers are picking their coaching staff, not the manager, and usually you got a little pipeline there.
Used to be managers got to choose all their coaches.
Yep.
3-1 to Flores with 2 men on, and Wilmer bounces 1 foul.
It was always their buddies, the good old boys, so to speak. You know, why wouldn't a manager want to be surrounded by his friends? As long as they're competent.
Like Billy Martin and Art Fowler, that kind of thing.
Rube Walker.
Yeah.
Hung around a long time with both Yogi and
Gil Hodges. d'Arnaud and Conforto set to take off. 3-2 and 2 out. And Flores fouls off the breaking ball, and they'll do it again. The Orioles, of course, are chasing the Yankees and the Blue Jays in the American League East. The Yankees won this afternoon, beating the Twins. The Jays are down 4-1 in Philadelphia in the 5th. Again, the 3-2, and again fouled away. So Jimenez, much like Kevin Gausman last night, seeing his pitch count elevated early in the game. Gausman was at 77 through 4, and Jimenez already at 78, despite having given up only 2 hits. He's about to throw his 30th pitch of this inning. He's already walked 3 in the inning. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Flores, and he bloops one foul. Davis can't get to it. Just didn't have enough air under it for Davis to get over there. Buck Showalter has one of the best bullpens in baseball, but he's got to get enough innings out of his starters to avoid burning out that bullpen.
And they've got a real tough schedule ahead of them. They're remaining their 43 games.
3-2, and that's lined into center field, a base hit. Darno will score. Conforto to third. He's going to be held up there. It's an RBI single for Wilmer Flores, and the Mets have a 2-0 lead. So the Mets take advantage of all the walks and cash a run. Tremendous at bat for Flores.
I'll say. Tremendous at bat. It gets a high fastball, stays level, and it's a rocket. Runners in motion. Almost a chance for the back runner. Tuffle was thinking about it. Timmy, whether to send Conforto here. Once he gets Cohen, Conforto could run pretty all right. Holds him up late.
So Flores drives in his 45th run of the year. And now Lagares will bat with first and third and 2 out. 3 walks in the inning. Jimenez got a break when Duda tried to steal and was thrown out, but then 2 odd walks to Darno and Conforto, and Flores gets a run home. And now a splitter misses low and in for ball 1 to Lagares.
Well, this is the Ubaldo Jimenez I've become familiar with. Just erratic.
Brian Mattis is up in the bullpen for the Orioles. That's slugged out to center, but Adam Jones is right there, and that ends the inning. But the Mets get a run on the Flores RBI single and lead 2-0. We're celebrating 10 years of Mets baseball on SNY. After the break, we'll go back and relive another one of the thrilling moments from the past. Mr. Met, I wonder what his second favorite memory is of Keith and hot dogs. By the way, not for nothing, but those SNY shirts are still looking good after all these years.
I tell you what, fine fabric, because I tell you they've been washed all these years.
Noah Syndergaard now with a 2-0 lead as he goes to the mound for the bottom of the fourth.
I like those shirts that Kurt got us that year with all the bright colors.
Oh, the one that looked like creamsicles?
Yes, and they were see-through practically.
Yeah, those were great.
They didn't last but a couple days.
Yeah. Quickly tossed aside like so many other ideas. 3, 4, and 5 in the Orioles batting order to face Syndergaard in the bottom of the fourth. Jones, Davis, and Scope. Noah has retired 8 in a row after giving up 2 hits and a walk to start the night. Worked out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam, and he's been rolling ever since. Jones drew a 4-pitch walk in that first inning. Well, Syndergaard tried a little different warm-up routine, trying to get off to a better start, particularly on the road. And it didn't kick in until the fourth batter, but he has made it work ever since.
Well, it's that devilish first inning for him, which he got out nicely, which is all character building. To me, those are the things you look for from a pitcher.
I mean, coming into the night, his first inning ERA was over 5. That's drilled toward the gap in left center field. And it bounces up over the wall for a ground rule double for Adam Jones. So the Orioles have their third hit after Syndergaard had retired 8 in a row.
Fastball right down the pipe. See, no matter how hard you throw, you get that ball out over the plate. Major league hitters, the good ones, are going to crush it. That ball was a blue dart.
Adam Jones, a 5-time All-Star, picks up his 22nd double of the year. And now Davis will bat. This was the key at bat for Syndergaard in the first inning.
Struck him out.
Struck him out on a 9-pitch at bat with a 3-2 curveball with the bases loaded, which really showed a lot.
Then he got a double play to end it. Love to see that from your pitchers.
So Davis has had 4 official at bats in this series and struck out in all 4. Now 152 strikeouts for the year, the most in the majors. But 34 home runs.
All or nothing. Nothing at all.
You know, it took Chris Davis a long time to develop into this huge power hitting threat. He was drafted by Texas in 2006, and it wasn't until 2012 that he finally hit his stride. Hit 33 home runs that year for the Orioles, and then the next year was the big year, 53 home runs, and finished third in the MVP race. In any other year, he might have won an MVP, but Cabrera and Trout were Cabrera and Trout. 1-1 to Davis. Jonathan Scope, the on-deck batter. There's a good changeup by Syndergaard, and he gets even on Davis. Every time he's thrown that changeup to the left-hand batter tonight, his location has been ideal. Jones at second and nobody out. 2-2 coming to Davis, and he fouls back the fastball. Doing construction here.
I do not like that. That was the Oriole bird. The jackhammer on the scoreboard.
2-2 coming, and he hooks one down the line. That'll go foul.
Well, that's the ball he likes, down and in. Got to stay away from that. Don't want to do that to him. And he stay upstairs.
So another long confrontation between Syndergaard and Davis. 7th pitch coming, and it's up and away, and another full count. Noah still looking for his first career road win. 8 road starts. He's 0-5, 5.01. I don't generally put a lot of credence into home road splits, but he needs one to get off the schneid. 3-2 coming. He fouls it off. 98 from Syndergaard. First time we see that number tonight.
He's reaching back. He knows it's a big out right here.
The last time a Mets pitcher started his career going 8 road starts without a win was Pete Shuriken. Remember Pete, the lefty, back in 91 and 92. Later blossomed, had a really good run with the Reds. 9th pitch of the at bat to Davis, and he walked him. So there's the second walk of the night issued by Syndergaard. He's only been averaging 2 walks per 9 innings this year. And the Orioles have the first 2 men on in the 4th. And Dan Warthen's going to head out to the mound before Syndergaard faces Jonathan Schoop.
Dan, very go ahead.
Verizon trivia question for tonight. Who led the Mets in batting average during the 1969 World Series win against the Baltimore Orioles?
I know a lot of people probably know that one in New York.
Yeah.
I can't recall. In '69, the Mets led the team in BA. I have no idea.
In the World Series.
Right.
So it could have been somebody who had 5 hits. It was only a 5-game series.
Right.
It's not a high-scoring series. Here's Schoop, who grounded into a double play to end the first inning. He's up with 2 on and nobody out here in the 4th. And Syndergaard misses ball 1. Well, Schoop really needs something good to happen in this series. He's been having a good year, but he has had a miserable time of it in this series so far, at the plate and in the field. Syndergaard, for his part, would like to get another ground ball from Schoop.
Good slider. Things just haven't been going Schoop's way in this game. It's serious.
Well, he's a much better player than what he's shown so far. I mean, let's just hope they can keep him down the rest of the night and then send him on his merry way. 2-1. In fact, Schoop made the 2 errors last night. He had made only 1 error all season before last night. Clevenger on deck. 2-1 to Schoop. Another good breaking ball. 2-2.
He's saving his best for Schoop. Chased a bad one.
Jones at second, Davis at first, and nobody out. 2-2. Struck him out. Now that breaking ball giving Schoop fits. That's the first out of the inning. 4th strikeout for Syndergaard.
This is best one for last. Look at that. Perfect.
So Syndergaard, who got himself out of 1 king-size jam in the first, trying to work his way out of it here in the 4th. He'll face Steve Clevenger, who flied out to right his first time up.
That's right. He got that 4U to 3 double play, Gare.
You mean the 4-4-3 double play? Just terminology. It's all a matter of semantics and what you're comfortable with. Actually, the official score would call it 4U-4-3.
Right.
Kind of a combination.
It's kind of like my percentage symbol behind the average.
That's true. I don't think the fans know about that. It's sliced foul and it's 1-1. Most people write an average, period, and then the 3 numbers. Keith
does
it differently.
I write period, 3 numbers, and percentage point. I do. I just always have.
So the percentage symbol.
Yes. But yeah, percentage symbol, correct. but I still put. No, sometimes I don't put the decimal in front.
We're all quirky, aren't we?
Yes.
1-1 to Clevenger. Foul back, 1-2. But in terms of the designation of the double play, you know why I say 4-4-3? Because that's what Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson did.
That's who you grew up with.
He grew up with.
Okay. And that's what you wanted to be, was a broadcaster.
I wanted to be your partner. That was my dream.
You went to the head of the line.
1-2 coming.
Clevenger toward the middle of the diamond. That sneaks through for a base hit. Jones heads home. Lagares' throw is cut off. Well, Syndergaard was that close to getting another double play grounder and get out of an inning. But a seeing eye hit for Clevenger brings in a run, and it cuts the Mets' lead to 2-1.
Well, how appropriate here, Gary. Would you call this a Baltimore chop? Right up the middle. Just out of Murph's reach. 5-6 feet to the right. It's a double play, inning-ending double play.
So the Orioles scratch here in the fourth. Clevenger, who's only had a handful of games with the Orioles this year, has been very productive. Now J.J. Hardy with 2 on and 1 out. Takes a breaking ball outside. Hardy struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. Davis now at second. Clevenger at first. Two guys who don't run very well.
Oh, gosh almighty. Gary, he's got such a tight slider when he snaps it like this. That is just outstanding. It's wicked.
It's a hook from hell.
Oh.
1-1 to Hardy.
See, I despise, not hate. We had this conversation with our producer in the Eats room. I despise the word. That's filthy. I just don't like that term. I don't despise it. That's too strong too. I like wicked. It's like put a spell on you.
It's almost like you're a Bostonian. It's wicked good.
There goes Davis, and he steals third without a throw. He got a walking lead.
And Chris Davis, who's not a base stealer, that's only his second of the year, swipes it easily.
Well, that is both teams with the scouting. Oh, wow. You've got to pay a little more attention.
And Davis realized that Syndergaard was paying no attention to him. Clevenger did not follow, so it's first and third. That keeps the double play in order. But it puts the tying run at third with 1 out, where a fly ball could get him in.
Everybody was surprised on that one.
2-2 to Hardy.
On the outside corner, got him looking at 98 miles an hour.
Wow, what you're looking for. It's a fastball. 2 strikes. Good pitch. Paint.
5 strikeouts for Syndergaard. 2 out in the inning. And now Henry Urrutia, who grounded out to short his first time up. Urrutia, in his brief tenure with the Orioles, is 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position. He's got Davis at third, Clevenger at first, and 2 out, with the Mets up 2-1 in the fourth. And that just missed away. Ball 1. Again, just off the plate, 2-0. Noah has walked 2, struck out 5, given up 1 run and 4 hits. Trying to limit the damage here in the fourth, but behind the number 8 hitter Urrutia, 2-0.
And that's laced to left field, but right at Conforto, and that retires the side.
Orioles get just the 1 run. Mets lead 2-1 after 4. Up when we check in with Steve Gelbs, whose report tonight is brought to you by StubHub. Steve?
Guys standing out here in right field, just a few feet away from where Daniel Murphy's home run landed in that first inning. And, you know, the Murph home run, it was a nice shot, but it wasn't good enough to get him memorialized here at Camden Yards for the remainder of the time that this ballpark is in being. You have to go a little bit further in terms of hitting a home run to do that. Go right in front of the warehouse onto Utah Street. If you hit a home run on the fly, you get a plaque right where the home run landed. It's a pretty rare thing that's happened. Only since 1992, 82 times has someone hit a home run on the fly that landed on Utah Street. The guy up at the plate right now for the Mets, Curtis Granderson, he's actually done it twice. Did it twice when he was with the Yankees. And Chris Davis, he just set the new record this year. He has hit 3 home runs this year that hit Utah Street, 8 in total. No one has hit close to that amount when you think about it. 82 times it has happened. Chris Davis has about 10% of that.
Granderson swinging 3-0, drills one down the line, and he's got himself an extra base hit. Not quite to Utah Street, but all the way to second base for Curtis Granderson, his 23rd double of the year.
Second batter that Terry has allowed to hit 3-0. Letting his troops loose, cutting them loose. Curtis continues to rake.
Hey, Steve, can I ask you a question that I have no idea if you know the answer to? Has a right-hand hitter ever hit one to Utah Street?
You know, Gary, that's a great question. I do not have the answer to that. I am not sure. That would be tough, though. I mean, it's not that it's so far, but in terms of the trajectory to hit that on the fly, it takes a lot of oomph.
We'll have to check that out. It would definitely be a very difficult poke. There's Murphy driving one into right for a base hit. Granderson being waved around third as Parra fell down, and that'll enable Granderson to score easily, and the Mets now lead 3-1. Murphy drives in his second run of the night and his 4th in this 2-game series.
First ball, fastball hitting, changeup stayed in, and Jimenez is starting to get ripped. Bad read by Granderson here. He kind of hesitated at first. It should have been a no doubter. Should have been easily score.
If Parra hadn't fallen down, Tuffle was going to have to stop Granderson at third. But he scores. Murphy now has 47 runs driven in. Nobody out in the inning. And now Cespedes, who has an infield hit and a ground out, 1 for 2.
Well, what I've seen so far, this Oriole team, it's only second game. You know, when you start getting into playoffs, you start playing the better teams, and they're going to have their work cut out for them.
Michael Givens, who was very effective in relief last night until his defense betrayed him, gets up again in the Oriole bullpen. Murphy at first and nobody out. And Cespedes watches wide, a ball and a strike. Well, you know, it's interesting. When you get to the postseason, you tend to have a much shorter level of patience with your starters. And so the bullpens come into play, and that serves the Orioles' purposes. But you got to have 1 or 2 guys who can get you fairly deep into a game. Down to third, Machado with a short hop. Nice throw to Scope, and the turn for a beautiful double play. That is some Gold Glove work. Manny Machado starting the 5-4-3.
Look at the turn here by Scope. Strong arm. Beautiful pivot. It's back, just gunned it over there. That's a nice DP.
Despite his poor performance last night, the Oriole people talk about Scope as another potential future Gold Glover on this Oriole team. They've already got, well, they had 5 on the field last night, and they got 4 Gold Glovers out there tonight. So here's Duda with 2 out and nobody on. Duda's taking a call, 3rd strike and walk tonight. And a cutter in for a strike. Jimenez up over 90 pitches working here in the 5th, but that double play certainly helps his cause. And the curveball misses, 1-1. Well, they're getting underway in a couple of minutes in Denver. Steven Strasburg pitching for the Nats tonight against the Rockies. There's a curveball and a big swinging strike, 1-2. The Nats play there again tomorrow night while the Mets are in town. We could go watch.
I'm going up to the mountains. Family comes first.
I'll have to go without you.
Okay. Let me know how it went.
Duda foul tips it for strike 3. And that ends the inning. Mets tack on a run, though, in the top of the 5th, giving Noah Syndergaard a 2-run edge. There's one of Curtis's Utah street home runs. He's had a big night. He's driven in 2 with a homer and a single. Noah Syndergaard's gotten out of a couple of big jams with only 1 run against him. And the Mets lead at 3-1. He's not here tonight, and we don't know whether he's watching or doing something more interesting on his birthday. But our colleague Ron Darling today turns 55 years young, and we figured we'd show him when he was just 22 as a Tidewater Tide back in 1982.
Amazing. Happy birthday, RJ.
Hope you're doing something fun, Ron. Caleb Joseph leads off in the home 5th. Ronnie will be back with us in Philadelphia starting on Monday. So he's got the whole week. It's almost like a birthday festival.
It's hard to believe Ronnie's 55.
What's harder to believe, that he's 55 or that you're going to be 61?
You had to bring that up, didn't you? Just had to say it. I told you in between innings not to bring it up.
You set me up perfectly. Thank you.
Oh, boy. Where has all the time gone?
October 20th, right?
Mickey Mantle, Juan Marichal.
You think the Mets will be playing on your birthday this year?
I think they have a decent chance.
It's been a long time. 0-2 to Joseph, who flied to center his first time up. Major League Baseball just announced the postseason schedule yesterday. The 7th game of the World Series would occur on November 4th.
Yep, 1 month after the season ends, right? Season ends on the 4th of October? I believe so.
That's Sunday.
Yep. So 1 month.
And I don't know how many of the people watching know this, but Major League Baseball is doing something different on the final day of the season this year. All 30 teams are playing at the exact same time, 3 o'clock Eastern time.
And they should, appropriately.
That's never happened before.
It's a good idea.
It's a great idea. The only thing that would make it better if it weren't an NFL Sunday. If you did it on a weekday, then it would get all the attention.
Yes.
Because remember, a few years ago, we had that great last day of the season where the Rays pulled it out the last day, and so many great things happened that last day. That was on a weeknight. Joseph strikes out. That's 6 strikeouts for Syndergaard. 1 out of the 5th.
97 on the gas. Good level. Am I right or wrong? Is the baseball season always end on a weekend? I thought they ended weekdays.
It is generally ended on a Sunday. For a couple of years, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it ended in the middle of the week. But generally in the last 20, 30 years, it has ended on a Sunday.
I always remembered that the last day of the season was always a day game. And it was nice to go home and have dinner at a normal hour.
Manny Machado tries to hold the swing, but he went around. Dan Iassogna with the call.
I mean, if you figure I played 17 years, I only got to postseason 3 times, Gary. Think about that.
Only once with the Cardinals? The year you won it all?
Only once. There was no second and third team. We'd have been there.
Well, think about that. If
the whole 80s.
You had a wild card in 85 and 87.
No one would have wanted to play us either.
84 you probably would have got in too, right? With 90 wins?
I think so, yes. And then back then it was only in the beginning, remember, there was only one wild card team. So that's the way it goes.
You got to play in the era.
It meant more to win the division, man. I tell you, back in those days. I understand the thinking because you got more teams now that are involved and you keep people interested. I remember most of the teams are out of it, and you lose attendance. I understand that.
Well, but the way they've adjusted it now since the second wild card is much better because now there's a great incentive to win the division, whereas for all those years with one wild card there wasn't. Machado fouls it off. I mean, you had scenarios. There was the one year the Dodgers and Padres went into the last day of the season tied, but they both knew they were going into the postseason, and they played like a spring training game because nobody cared whether they won the division or not. Now you'd play that game all out to avoid playing that one-game wild card game.
Well, it's 43 games left. You never know what's going to happen. The Cubs could fold. They've been known to fold.
Machado hits it sharply. That's a base hit. Lagares over quickly to get it. And Machado's on with his second hit of the night, a 1-out single.
Very impressive level swing right here on a fastball. Quick bat. It's a rocket. But if you look at the way the season's coming around in the National League, looks like the 2 wild cards are coming out of the Central. There's no guarantee. And if that's the case, then the winner of the East is going to play either the Dodgers or the Giants, the winner of the West. And St. Louis, of course, would play the winner of that single game in their division. Actually, they'd be playing in their division.
There's Parra, who's 1 for 2, singled and stole a base back in the first. That's hit out to left field, chasing Conforto back, and he gets there to make the catch.
Well, Conforto continues, Gary, to make every play in the outfield. I mean, those are fly balls, but he's making the plays.
He looks awfully smooth for a guy who supposedly was not.
He looks very comfortable out there.
So 2 out of the inning. I will say this, Keith. With 43 games to go, more than a quarter of a season to play, I don't make any assumptions about anything. I mean, the Cardinals only lead by 5 games. The Dodgers are only 2 games ahead of the Giants. To me, the only team that's home free are the Kansas City Royals. They've got a 13.5 game lead going into the day.
Absolutely.
14 now with the Twins losing this afternoon. But every other division, every other wild card, still very much in play with this many games to go. Here's Adam Jones, who's walked and doubled. Well, since 2011, only 3 players in the majors have more hits than Adam Jones. Presented by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code NYM for free entry. There goes Machado, and he gets such a big jump that d'Arnaud doesn't even throw.
This is like the old days back in the 70s and the 80s with all the used to be a lot of speed.
Machado's 16th of the year and the 3rd stolen base of the night for the Orioles. who came into the night with only 31 for the season, dead last in the American League, but they've taken advantage of Syndergaard, who's now given up 15 steals and 16 tries this year. 1-0 to Jones with the runner at second and 2 out. And he grounds one weakly to Flores. Machado gets out of the way. Flores throws out Jones. Side retired. A hit and 1 left. Syndergaard through 5 with only 1 run against him. Hasn't been easy all night for Syndergaard, but he's gotten the job done. 3-1 Mets after 5. If that holds up, the Yankees will have a 2-game lead in the American League East at the end of the night. Michael Givens on to pitch for the Orioles in the 6th inning, and Juan Uribe fouls back his first pitch.
Givens threw last night and was touched up for 2 unearned runs in 1+ innings. His error behind him, that was the costly error by Scope at second base.
Uribe gets one deep to left, but Urrutia has room right at the edge of the warning track.
Just got in enough. Nope. Just got inside. Well, shall we bring it up, Gary, since we have our dark night in the third base dugout? The passing of Batgirl from the 60s television series with Adam West. Yvonne Craig, 78 years old. She passed away.
So there was Batman, there was Robin, and then there was Batgirl?
Batgirl was actually the daughter of Commissioner Gordon.
Really?
Yes.
Did Commissioner Gordon know that?
He did not know that. There she is. Looking very spiffy.
So she was not a resident of Stately Wayne Manor.
No, she was not. She used to ride around a little motorcycle, if I recall.
Yeah, I think that's about when the series jumped the shark, right?
Well, they had some great characters,
yes,
didn't they?
Yes, they did. Talking, of course, about the 60s TV show.
Very campy and in a well-done way.
Darno out on strikes, so Givens has retired the first 2.
So we had Cesar Romero as the Joker.
Frank Gorshin as the Riddler.
Right. Otto Preminger played Mr. Freeze. And I do Catwoman, oh my goodness. It was Eartha Kitt and
Julian Newmar.
Thank you.
Burgess Meredith.
Penguin.
Yeah.
And I can't think there was another one, False Face. I can't remember who played False Face.
See, the younger folks who aren't familiar with the Batman TV series are more familiar with the darker version of Batman, but this was much more lighthearted.
This was more a comic book.
Yeah.
Yep. And the Bam and the Wow and the Pow.
Conforto hits it right into the shift, and Scope is there to throw him out. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Michael Gibbons in the top of the 6th. Syndergaard back to the mound with a 3-1 lead. Averted a flood in the first inning and has allowed just 1 run through 5. Ubaldo Jimenez lasted just 5 and gave up 3 runs, including Daniel Murphy's home run. And the Mets have a 3-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Get to Citi Field Friday, August 28th. The Mets take on the Red Sox at 7:10. All fans in attendance will receive a Mets NY logo T-shirt. That's NY logo T-shirt, courtesy of Pepsi. For tickets, visit Mets.com/free shirt Fridays. Well, there's Logan Verrett up in the Mets bullpen. Verrett was called up in time for yesterday's game when Bobby Parnell went on the disabled list. Chris Davis leads off and hooks one into right field for a base hit. Granderson chases it, but it'll go to the wall, and Davis will go to second base with a leadoff double. So, for the 3rd time in 6 innings, the Orioles have a leadoff double.
Interesting how they play Davis, pull on the infield, and give him the right field line in the outfield. Interesting.
So Davis has his first hit in this series, his 20th double of the year. Syndergaard at 90 pitches. Verrett up in the bullpen. And Jonathan Scope coming up. Scope has bounced into a double play and struck out. So some more heavy lifting for Syndergaard with the tying run at the plate. And a good curveball to start off Scope.
Scope does not like the breaking ball, Gare.
Struck him out with a selection of curveballs in the 4th inning. And another one.
They just keep feeding him. He's swinging. It's outside. He can't lay off. He can't hit this pitch. It's too far outside.
So why does he keep swinging that?
Because some people are very stubborn.
Or does he not recognize?
He's not recognizing. He's got to slow it down. It's easier said than done.
He lays off that one.
See, I always felt after that you can pop him one inside, let him think on it, and then come right back out away.
See if Darno and Syndergaard are thinking in the same direction. Noah has struck out 6 tonight.
And another curveball. Schoop hits this one deep to left, right down the line, and it's out of here. A 2-run homer for Jonathan Schoop to tie the game. One curveball too many and in the wrong part. And Schoop hits his 9th home run to tie the game at 3.
Well, more so in the wrong spot, Garrett. Look at this hang inside. So, a redeemer for Mr. Schoop.
Well, everything had been going wrong for Schoop, and all of a sudden everything was going right. Call strike to Clevenger, who drove in the first Orioles run with a base hit in the 4th.
Game was just kind of meandering along at a very slow pace. And wham.
Up the middle, and Murphy can't get that. And Clevenger has his 2nd hit. 3 straight hits for the Orioles to start the 6th inning. And Terry Collins is on his way out.
Well, that's going to leave a bad taste in Thor's mouth here.
Well, he had 2 huge jams he was able to work out of, or almost out of. But he gives up the 2-run homer to Schoop on the hanging curve, and now he'll leave in a 3-3 game in the 6th. And Logan Verrett will make his first appearance since his recall from Las Vegas. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. Had a 3-1 lead going to the 6th, but Jonathan Schoop hits a 2-run homer to tie the game, and now Syndergaard is out. And Logan Verrett makes his first big league appearance since July the 5th.
His 3rd stint here with the Metsies up on the big time. And he did a nice job for the Mets. Nice curveball. This was a numbers game when he got sent down last time, but he went back down and started. Yep. for Las Vegas.
And it could well be that after this relief stint tonight, the next time we see Verrett will be as a starter. He faces J.J. Hardy, who's celebrating his 33rd birthday, and Hardy hits one out to left center field. A long run for Lagares deep in the gap, and he makes a brilliant catch. And back to first goes Clevenger. Like Juan Lagares of 2014, he ran halfway across the universe to catch this ball.
Well, this was big trouble. He ran a long way. Nice catch. This had double RBI double written all over it.
I mean, look where he started.
Yep, way over in right center. Top of your screen. There you go. That's a saver. Beautiful play.
Big time play by Lagares for the first out of the inning. And now Urrutia grounds one foul. Urrutia is grounded out in line to left. The reason I mentioned Verrett as a potential starter in his next appearance is because the Mets are very much leaning toward skipping Matt Harvey's start against the Rockies on Sunday and letting Verrett start that game. Into shallow left, and Conforto comes on, and that's the second out. Terry was talking yesterday about the fact that we're going to have to skip Harvey at some point to keep his innings down, and it looks as though the Mets are going to do that sooner rather than later. It's not official, it's not cast in stone, but that appears to be the way they're leaning.
I think that it's probably going to happen. He will miss his start in Colorado on getaway day, and then probably chunk it up there in Philadelphia.
Or against the Red Sox, first game of that
So they even
series.
give him a longer little spell.
Yeah. Well, there'll be a full turn in the rotation. And it makes a lot of sense to do it now rather than wait until September. Here's Caleb Joseph, who's flied out and struck out. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. Later on, the Mets will have Steven Matz, they hope, in September to fill out another spot in the rotation, and that'll keep everybody's innings down a little bit.
Yeah, just make sure that he's totally healed.
For Logan Verrett, this is kind of an odd homecoming because remember, Logan was taken in the Rule 5 draft last winter by the Orioles and spent all of spring training with Baltimore. They couldn't keep him, though, and they put him on waivers. He went to Texas, where he made his big league debut in April, and then came back to the Mets. Little dribbler, and Darno's right there to play it, and that retires the side. So Verrett, with some help from Lagares, gets through the inning and keeps it tied. But Syndergaard gives up the 2-run homer to Jonathan Scope. That gets the Orioles even. Scope's 9th of the year makes it 3-3 as we go to the 7th at Camden Yards. Tie game as we start the 7th. Wilmer Flores leads off against Michael Givens, who begins his 2nd inning. Flores drove in a run with a base hit in the 4th. He's 1 for 2 on the night. Flores, Lagares, and Granderson due up in the 7th. Mets 3 runs, 5 hits. The Orioles 3 runs and 8 hits. So Givens last night pitched a 1-2-3 8th, faced 2 batters in the 9th, comes back tonight, pitches a 1-2-3 6th, and again being asked to start a 2nd inning. We mentioned last night that Buck Showalter has been more apt than most managers to let his relief pitchers get more than 3 outs, but less apt than other managers to pitch them back-to-back days. Here with Givens, he's doing both.
I think Givens has got one of those we call rubber arms. He's a slinger. Converted shortstop. Now the guys, when you're converted to a pitcher, that means you didn't hit. So he probably has a strong arm, and they put him on the mound.
We saw Brian Mattis up in the bullpen for the Orioles with Curtis Granderson 2 batters away. They want the left-hander ready. And Flores takes it low, 1-2. Meanwhile, Hansel Robles is up in the Mets bullpen after Logan Verrett got the 3 outs in the 6th. Flores had a tremendous turn at bat his last time up with 2 men on, worked a 9-pitch marathon against Ubaldo Jimenez before singling a run.
And Flores hits it deep to left field. Back goes Urrutia to the warning track. Back at the wall. It's out of here! Wilmer Flores puts the Mets back in front. His 12th home run of the year, and it's 4-3 New York. Wilmer gives one a ride, and the Mets regain the lead.
Hanging breaking ball, very much like the one Syndergaard threw to Scope. And everybody knows it's out of here.
First home run Michael Givens has given up in the major leagues. So, second straight night, Buck stays with Givens for a 2nd inning, and the second straight night it hurts him. Lagares takes a strike. Last night he gave up a leadoff hit in his 2nd inning of work. And then the Orioles mishandled the ball, and it cost them a couple of runs.
Mets have been hitting a lot of home runs in the second half, Garrett.
Yes, they have. It's 36 home runs in their last 23 games.
Hanging slider to catcher. Look at him. Oh, that's, well, shoot, it's a hanger. There it goes. You fight back, and then you give it right back up.
Going to Lagares. This is going to be Givens' last batter, I'm sure, with Mattis ready to face Granderson and Murphy. Well, he got ahead on Flores, and then Flores was able to work it to 2-2 and got the breaking ball to hit and made no mistake. And Lagares stays alive. Meanwhile, they're in the 2nd inning at Coors Field. The Nats and Rockies no score. It's Steven Strasburg against Jorge De La Rosa tonight. One, two. Lagares fouls back the fastball. Let's answer our Verizon trivia question. We asked who had the highest batting average for the Mets in the 1969 World Series.
Al Weiss, who hit 213 that year, or 203, something like that.
The super sub of the New York Mets. 2-2 to Lagares.
He hit the home run in what game? That big home run
in Game 5, right after Don Clendenin hit his 3rd home run of the series. Clendenin won the MVP, but Weiss was the stealth bomber in that game. 7th pitch of the at bat to Lagares, and he hits one out to center field. Hit pretty well. Jones going back, and he gets there to make the play. for a long first down. And now Buck Showalter heads out of the dugout. They'll bring in the lefty to face Granderson. Mets have taken the lead back here in the 7th inning on Wilmer Flores' home run. Ryan Mattis coming out of the Baltimore pen. We'll be right back to Camden Yards. Performance against the Falcons. Plus, is this a make or break season for Quentin Copels? And what motivates Leonard Williams? Janae Coakley finds out. Jets Nation Inside Camp Sunday at 8, only on SNY. Brian Mattis in. Throws a breaking ball for a strike to Curtis Granderson.
Well, left-handed specialist. Lefty's only hitting 139 and 72 at bats against Mattis.
Granderson's got great career numbers against Mattis. 6 for 20 with 4 home runs. But the lefties haven't been kind to Granderson this year. Only 1 home run against the lefty.
He's only given up 3 runs in his last 22 outings.
Mattis at one time was a huge prospect. He was the 4th overall pick in the draft in 2008 coming out of the University of San Diego. But after a failed stint as a starter, has settled in the last 3 years as a reliever for the Orioles and done well. Granderson pulls one into the shift right at Scope for the second out.
Well, you see the defense there. Scope out there in the right field. And that's exactly where he hit it, as it was diagrammed.
For 100 years, that was a base hit. No more. Here's Murphy, who's had another big night. 1st inning home run, 5th inning RBI single. And he pops this one up in foul ground out of play. Murphy in this series now 4 for 7, 2 doubles, a homer, 4 RBIs. He has enjoyed his stopover in Maryland. Ball and a strike to Murphy. So Michael Givens went an inning and a third in relief. Gave up the home run to Flores to put the Mets back in front. So he's pitcher of record on the short side. Logan Verrett on the long side. After Verrett got the 3 outs in the 6th behind Syndergaard. Toward the middle of the diamond, but that's where Hardy is. And the overhand throw gets Murphy. So Mattis comes in, gets the 2 lefties out, but the Mets grab the lead in the top of the 7th. Wilmer Flores all over that breaking ball for his 12th home run of the year. Stretch time in Baltimore on the Mets lead at 4-3.
On to face the top of the Orioles order. Mets up 4-3 here in the bottom of the 7th. And while we have a quick second, let's take a moment to check in on some of the minor leaguers in A-ball right now for the Mets who are really starting to come into their own. The two that come to mind most are Dom Smith with St. Lucie as well as Ahmed Rosario. Dom Smith, the 2013 first-round pick, first baseman. Ahmed Rosario signed a few years ago out of the Dominican Republic as a teenager. He is the shortstop. And, let's start with Dom Smith. This guy offensively this year really starting to come into his own. He leads the Florida State League in both doubles and RBIs, and he is a guy that they project down the line, maybe just a few years away from being a power guy, gap-to-gap power, 15, maybe 20 home runs. But what really sets Dominic Smith apart, his first base glove, my goodness, he is something special. From everybody you talk to, his manager in St. Lucie, Luis Rojas, says he's one of the best he's ever seen. One scout told me he's going to win multiple Gold Gloves at the major league level, and with this guy, he's a guy that steals a lot of errors for his infielders. He's really good around the bag. Right now, the next step is just increasing his range a little bit more, working on his conditioning. As for Ahmed Rosario, the shortstop, he's a little behind in terms of the offensive side of the game, but he might be the best athlete in this system. An absolutely fantastic shortstop, great range, fantastic arm, really good accuracy, and Baseball America recently ranked both Rosario and Dom Smith as the best in the Florida State League in their position defensively.
Well, they're a long way from the big leagues, but it's nice to hear about that talent bubbling up, especially in the case of Dom Smith, a kid who was a #1 pick, and in Rosario's case, working at a premium position. Meanwhile, Robles asked to pitch the 7th inning after Logan Verrett got 3 outs with 6 pitches, and he's fallen behind Manny Machado 3-1 with Parra and Jones to follow. And it's fouled off 3-2. Last time out, Robles worked 3 scoreless innings in that 14-inning win Saturday night against the Pirates. But he's been a little up and down, and Terry Collins has been reluctant to hand him higher leverage situations, but he's given him one tonight.
Another rookie out there that's learning in crunch time. He has, I think, done a credible job. Sometimes he gets his fanny kicked, and sometimes he goes out there and does the opposite. Good pitch.
Strikes out Machado on the foul tip for the first down. So he came back from 3-1 and got a pretty good hitter. Machado chasing upstairs.
One thing about Hansel, Gary, he's fearless. You're going to have to beat him, and that's what I like to see. I look at the gut check, and he's passed with flying colors.
And then an MRI for that?
Yes.
It's Gerardo Parra, who's 1 for 3. Had a base hit back in the first inning. Flied out twice against Syndergaard, who went 5 innings plus. Allowed 3 runs, 8 hits. Verrett retired all 3 of his hitters. And now Robles trying to get through the 7th. And Parra takes below the knees, ball 1. Well, today is what? Today's Wednesday.
All day.
So if Harvey does miss a start on Sunday and Verrett pitches, he will be on 3 days rest after pitching just an inning today. That sounds just about right.
Yeah. There's Matt.
So all about holding those innings limits down coming off Tommy John surgery. 2-0 to Parra. And that's pulled foul. You know, it's such a paradox, right? Because the reason why Harvey and the Mets are in this innings dilemma is because he's been so good.
Correct. The Mets pitching have gone 7 innings more than any other staff. The starting rotation. They've gone deep in ball games. They've been that good. You're absolutely right, Gary.
I mean, you figure they were going to try and cap him around 185. He's on a pace for about 215 in terms of innings. Lifted to center. Easy for Lagares. And Parra is retired, 2 out. So by skipping Harvey here in the latter stages of August, it should free him up to make all of his starts in September. And then at some point they'll add Matz to the rotation. Might go 6-man at that point. That remains to be seen. That'll slow down the innings number as well. The other guy they have to watch is Syndergaard, because he's already thrown more innings this year than he did all last year.
Right. And we're starting to see a little bit of an up and down in his velocity. So that's how you build arm strength, though.
But he'll get skipped at one point too. Pretty certain. Adam Jones launches one to deep left center field. Back goes Conforto with Lagares near the wall, and it's out of here. Adam Jones ties the game with his 23rd home run of the year. Big night for Jones. A double and now a home run. And we're back even at 4.
This is the new launching pad.
So for the second straight inning, the Orioles rallied a tie. And now Chris Davis, who doubled his last time up, his first hit in the series, and he takes a rip and fouls it back. And while the Rockies put up a run in the bottom of the second against Steven Strasburg, Colorado 1, Washington 0 going to the 3rd. And you can't hold Adam Jones down for very long. He's been such a consistent player for the Orioles for the last 8 years. Davis fouls it off. One of the best steals ever made, right? They got him from Seattle for Eric Bedard. Rip off.
Bedard didn't do anything but give everybody headaches.
Robles ahead 0-2 on Chris Davis. 1-2. So the Mets find themselves involved, much as they were over the weekend against the Pirates. Another battle of the bullpens. Former Met Darren O'Day is up in the Orioles bullpen. He's their 8th inning guy. with Zach Britton handling the ninth. Mets last night needed only Clippard and Familia, and neither one was at the top of their game, and they staggered to the finish. Here having to go deeper into their bullpen, holding on Barrett and now Robles.
For every swing from Davis is just go swinging for the downs. He is just looking to lift.
That's a perfect ballpark for him, isn't it?
I'll say. 318 down the line in right field.
Makes you wonder how he could have struggled so mightily last year. 2 years ago, 53 home runs, hit 286. Last year, 26 home runs, he hit 196. And back to his old ways this year.
It's only 373 in the gap too, Gary, and it runs straight out at a right angle in right field, so it's a right field porch.
1-2, up and in. 2-2. This is a lot of long turns at bat in this game, and Davis has had several of them.
Where was that pitch?
Two out and nobody on. 2-2 to Davis. And that just missed. Full count. Well, this is Davis's fourth at bat of the night. And it's the third time he will have seen 9 pitches. He struck out on the 9th pitch in the first inning. He walked on the 9th pitch in the 4th. And now he's about to see a 9th pitch from Robles. Struck him out. Nasty slider on 3-2.
I'll say.
And Robles gets Davis to end the inning. But the Orioles get even again. This time it's Adam Jones going deep. After Jonathan Scope tied it in the 6th, Jones's 23rd makes it 4-4 as we go to the 8th in Baltimore. The Orioles tied 4-4. Mets will have 3, 4, and 5 in their order coming up against Brian Mattis, who came in to get the final 2 outs in the 7th. Cespedes, Duda, and Uribe due up. Cespedes 1 for 3 tonight, an infield hit back in the first, serving as the DH tonight. 3 infielders arrayed on the left side against Cespedes. It's really shocking, and you look at Cespedes against Mattis, 1 for 2 with a home run. It's been shocking looking at Cespedes' numbers against lefties, hitting well below 200 against them. That's not what you'd expect.
No.
Got a 2-0 advantage here. Brad Brock is getting up in the bullpen for the Orioles alongside Darren O'Day. So they've got two right-handers throwing. And the curveball from Mattis misses, and now it's 3-0. Oh, well, we've seen three Mets swing 3-0 tonight. We saw Cespedes swing 3-0 and ground out in the third.
I think he'll take here.
Saw Granderson double on a 3-0 pitch, and we saw Conforto given a green light on 3-0. And he takes a strike. Got that Vulcan mind meld going.
You know what? You got a little sinker baller and not an overpowering pitcher. You've got Cespedes, who's been pulling too much of late. So maybe getting over anxious 3-0.
Takes a big rip at a 3-1 fastball, and now a full count.
This was one to hit right here. Beat him. He's got that big uppercut swing, boy. He's got the swinging for the downs.
20 home runs this year, 2 as a Met. 3-2 coming, and he fouls it away. Mattis has never been a hard thrower, but he's developed his breaking ball to the point where he's an effective situational lefty, but he's done okay against the righties as well. 3-2 coming, and Cespedes fouls that one off. Duda on deck, Uribe behind him. Mets 4 runs, 6 hits. The Orioles 4 runs, 9 hits. Each team has hit 2 home runs tonight. 8th pitch of the at bat, and Cespedes goes down on strikes. Mattis with his first strikeout. We'll check in with the studio. Michelle Yu has another game break brought to you by Ford. Giants just 2 games behind the Dodgers in the NL West, but now without Hunter Pence for the next couple of weeks.
Oblique.
Yep.
Heard it on a swing, and that's going to take him away for a while.
It's been the case most of the time this year, hasn't it?
Yep.
They've been without him more than they've had him.
And that oblique is just a slow heal.
It's funny, a guy who normally plays 162 games a year, and just all of a sudden the injuries have piled up. Duda 0 for 2 and a walk. Tries to hold the swing, and he stopped it in time. 2-0. Coming up tonight, Geico Sports Night after the post game. Chris Carlin will have Eli Manning speaking out, and see, Chris is right there. He says it's yours if you want it.
Tequila Tuesdays, Chris.
I think he might have just sweetened the pot. That's a big open chair waiting for a big personality to fill it. 3-0 to Duda with Uribe on deck.
Gosh, would you give Duda the hit sign here?
You got 2 right-hand hitters behind Duda, Uribe and Darno, so we'll probably see one of the right-handers to face them. O'Day and Brock both up.
Give him the hit sign.
And Lucas, I don't think we've ever seen him swing 3-0. Takes a strike. It's not in his DNA.
Well, he's got that beard working in there. It's coming nicely.
3-1 from Mattis, and Duda clocks one foul. That was like that pitch he hit against Jordan Zimmerman. That up and in pitch he hit for a home run that he kept fair at Citi Field in that Sunday night game.
It looked like that ball wanted to stay fair. I thought it was going to be way foul. Well, this is a bandbox, isn't it?
Yep. 318 down the line. Short fences, only 7 feet high most of the way around. 3-2 to Duda. And he hits one out to left center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit and go all the way back to the wall. Duda pulls into second with a 1-out double.
His career high 28th double of the year.
Using the opposite field with 2 strikes. There comes Buck Showalter to make the move. Nice hitting, Lucas.
So Duda with the 1-out double puts the tie-breaking run at second. With Uribe coming up, they'll bring in the right-hander. 4-4 game in the 8th. We'll be right back.
Made the All-Star team picked by Ned Yost. His first All-Star appearance. Didn't appear in the game. He's riding a season-high 10-game scoreless streak.
He's been wonderful since he's come to the Orioles for 4 years now. He was once a Met. Mets got him in a Rule 5 draft from the Angels back in 2009. He pitched in 4 games. Then the Mets waived him. Texas took him. Ended up with the Orioles, and he's had a really good career. Tie-breaking run at second. Uribe the batter, and he pulls off the slider, 0-1. I'm a little surprised that Terry is not using Kelly Johnson here to pinch hit against the sidearm.
Well, you got a 4-man bench. You got a DH. He's the only left-hander you got on the bench.
Well, in the 9th, you're going to face Zach Britton, who's a lefty, so I don't know when else you would use Kelly. Check swing roller down to Davis. And that's the second out as Duda goes to third. So now it's Travis d'Arnaud trying to get that run in from third with 2 out. Travis is 0 for 2 in a walk. It has not come easily for Travis. 14 games off the disabled list and hitting just a shade over 200. 0 for 5 in this series. Ryan Mattis worked an inning in relief, gave up just the 1 hit, the double to Duda. And now O'Day trying to clean up for him. And d'Arnaud takes the slider just off the plate, ball 1.
Very shallow Parra in right field. It's only 318 down that line, so he's playing real shallow.
There's a strike. 1-1.
The old submariner. Right out of the days of Ted Abernathy.
Oh, I saw a Ted Abernathy note today. I meant to mention it to you.
Are you kidding?
I'll tell you in a second. was digging through the Orioles press guide. You know how Ted Williams hit a home run in his last major league at bat? Joe Frazier, who later became manager of the Mets as an Oriole in 1956, hit a home run in his last big league at bat against Ted Abernathy.
Really?
That's some trivia for you. 1-2 to Darno with Duda at third and 2 out.
Struck him out with a fastball.
So O'Day comes in and gets the 2 right-hand hitters out and strands Duda at third. We go to the bottom of the 8th, still tied at 4.
Quick work.
Coors Field in Denver to take on the Rockies with Bartolo Colon on the mound. Our coverage begins at 7:30 Friday night right here on SNY. Tyler Clippard on to pitch the bottom of the 8th.
Well, Clippard is the 8th inning guy. You see his season most of the year with Oakland, of course.
He got one scary out in the 8th inning last night against Gerardo Parra. A long drive that Granderson made a nice catch on. Then started the 9th, got an out, but then a walk and a blue pit left for Familia, who got into trouble of his own and finally survived for the save. It'll be Jonathan Scope, Steve Clevenger, and J.J. Hardy due up in the bottom of the 8th for the Orioles. Clippard, the 4th Met pitcher of the night. Logan Verrett worked a 1-2-3. Hansel Robles gave up the game-tying home run to Adam Jones in the 7th. Scope tied the game in the 6th with a home run of his own against Noah Syndergaard. And he goes after the first pitch changeup, 0-1.
One big mistake that Syndergaard made in the game, the one hang-in breaking ball to Scope in that 6th inning.
Home run for Scope was his 9th of the year and his first hit in the series. A ball and a strike to Scope. Orioles have their closer, Zach Britton, up in the bullpen. He'll pitch the 9th regardless, one would suspect. 1-2 to Scope. There's Britton, who, like O'Day, was an all-star this year.
Big, strong guy.
One two from Clippard. He balloons that one high. 2-2. They've gone to the fourth at Coors Field. Rockies 1, Nationals nothing. The scope's seen 5 pitches in this at bat, only 1 fastball. But that's Clippard. Two. Fouled away. Another fastball there. Steve Clevenger, who has a couple of hits and an RBI tonight, waits on deck. Now the 2-2. In the air to left. Conforto back. Should have room this time. And just enough to make the catch. 1 out.
Hold your breath. In this ballpark.
And it doesn't seem to matter what part of the ballpark.
No.
I mean, right field is obviously short, but left field only 364 and the low fence, and the ball travels well. Seems like it gets out just as well that way. Here's Clevenger. DHing tonight, 2 for 3. The Blue Jays lost, so the Orioles have a chance to pick up some ground on Toronto. Started the day 4 games back of the Blue Jays for second place in the East. The Yankees won today, so they now have a 2-game lead on Toronto. The Orioles try to stay 5 back. Baltimore fell out of the second wild card last night when the Angels won and they lost. They're a half game behind the Angels. Ball and a strike to Clevenger. With J.J. Hardy on deck. Must be an honor for J.J. Hardy to share his birthday with Ronnie. Wonder if he knows.
I feel the same way about sharing it with Juan Marichal and Mickey Mantle.
I want to know if on October 20th the guys on PTI are going to announce your birthday.
Oh, probably not. I get overlooked.
Not often. 2-1 to Clevenger. And there's a fastball for a strike. 2-2.
Right there, right to the glove. In the eye outside corner.
I mean, when you get a guy like Clippard, you get to a point where you look for the changeup.
You can, yes. Particularly behind the count.
Well, it didn't help Clevenger there. He goes down swinging for the second out. He's gotten quite a lot of mileage out of that pitch over the years.
Yes, he has.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now J.J. Hardy, whose birthday present so far was to be robbed of an extra base hit on a brilliant catch by Juan Lagares his last time up. Struck out in his first 2 at bats. And Hardy gets one in the air. Playable in left field for Conforto. And so Tyler Clippard comes on and pitches a 1-2-3, bottom of the 8th. On to the 9th we go. The Orioles will go to their closer, Zach Britton. Mets and Orioles tied 4-4. guys. Now it's Zach Britton, who has gone from a failed starter to an all-star closer for the Orioles.
You're not lying about that. Ranks tied for second in the AL with saves at 29. And you're right about that, Gary. He struggled in that starting position for a long time.
Michael Kadire bats for Michael Conforto, leading off in the 9th inning in a 4-4 game. And Britton misses wide for ball 1. Kadire's got 4 career at bats against Britton, 2 hits in those 4 at bats, including a home run. Michael DH last night, went 1 for 4. Wilmer Flores has had a big night on deck, and then Juan Lagares for the Mets in the 9th. And Britton quickly behind 2-0. Britton doesn't walk many, only 10 walks in 49 innings this year. Mets have Carlos Torres and Jerry's Familia up in the bullpen. Familia if they take the lead, Torres if they don't. 2-0 to Kadire.
And he rips one in the left field for a base hit. Michael Kadire with a pinch hit single to get the Mets started in the 9th.
High fastball, just jumped all over it. Ahead in the count, Wilmer having a big day. 2 RBIs, 2 for 3, home run, 12th.
And he's had some great at bats along the way. An RBI single in the 4th on the 9th pitch he saw from Jimenez. And then worked from behind in the count against a tough right-hander in Michael Givens, and gave the Mets a lead with a 7th inning home run, his 12th of the year. Lagares on deck, Granderson behind him. And Wilmer takes outside, so Britton having trouble throwing strikes early on. Britton is almost exclusively a fastball pitcher. He'll throw that 2-seam fastball 91% of the time. So you know what you're going to get. Anthony is for a strike, and it's 1-1. Britton is the Orioles' 5th pitcher of the night. Darren O'Day got his 2 men in the 8th, giving way to Britton. 1-1 to Flores.
Oh, good pitch. Good sinker. Hard sinker. Gotta take those hard sinker ballers the other way. Can't try to pull them.
See if Flores changes his approach with 2 strikes.
Big gap out there between Scopes at second and Davis at first. Be a nice 1st and 3rd situation.
And Flores tries to go the other way and fights it off. Remember that hit he had in Tampa in the top of the 9th inning?
Yes.
The go-ahead hit where he just poked the ball to right field.
Just kind of placed it out there. Got a strong arm in right field in Parra, so it would take a real soft ground ball or a ball to the left or right of Parra to get Kadire to 3rd.
1-2 coming, and Flores gets a breaking ball and pulls it foul. Mets have beaten the Orioles 9 straight times. They're 22-9 all time against Baltimore, 12-6 here at Camden Yards. They've had some magic against the Orioles and looking for more here in the 9th inning.
Double play ball if they hurry. Scope to Hardy. Double play, 2-man down. 4-6-3, the Orioles' 2nd double play of the night.
Taylor made. Nice attempt at the slide from Kadire to break it up.
So 2 out and nobody on.
And now it's left to Juan Lagares, who's 0 for 3 tonight, struck out and flied out twice. Getting to face a left-hander for the first time today. He pounds that sinker into the ground, 0-1. In the bottom of the ninth, the Orioles will have 8, 9, and 1 in their order due up. And right now it's Torres doing most of the throwing in the bullpen, and Familia just throwing lightly. A home run, and that would change quickly.
Chopper, a Baltimore chop, and Britton has no play. Lagares safe at first base. Hit it straight down off the plate, and there wasn't a thing that Britton could do about it. And Lagares with the infield single with 2 out.
This is a worm killer right here. Boy, look at that thing jump up. Really, it was the play for the catcher, not the pitcher. Catcher makes that play, and it's out.
At least his momentum's going in the right direction.
Precisely.
So, a chance for Granderson, who's got a double in 4 trips. He's also lined out twice in this game after hitting 2 home runs last night. Granderson 0 for 1. 2 for 8 in his career against Britton, including a home run. Lagares 7 stolen bases this year. Good. And a knee-high fastball for a strike. Orioles playing the triangle defense against Granderson, who's already lined out into that shift twice tonight. Lagares runs, and Granderson fouls it off.
That's too bad that Granderson had the swing. It's a strike. He's 0-1. That's a good idea by Lagares to try to steal here.
Trying to steal against a pitcher in Britton who has not given up a stolen base this season. Now it's 0-2 to Curtis. One and 2. If Granderson keeps the inning going, Daniel Murphy would be next. One-two from Britton, and Granderson pops it up. Adam Jones in to call, and stays with it to retire the side. Nets get a couple of hits off Britton in the ninth, but it's still 4-4 going to the bottom of the ninth. Carlos Torres will pitch the bottom of the ninth for New York.
Well, Carlos has had kind of an up and down year this year, a little more inconsistent than last year. He was so wonderful last year, but he's had less work, and I really feel that he's a guy that likes to work all the time. He hasn't physically got the body to be a guy that can throw all the time, so you got to kind of pull the reins on him, but he's a veteran. He's been in this situation before.
97 innings last year, only 47 innings this year. Henry Urrutia leads off the bottom of the ninth and takes a strike. Torres at one time pitched in the American League with the White Sox back in 2009-2010, but most of these Orioles have very few at-bats against him. Brad Brock up in the Orioles pen, ready to pitch a 10th inning if there is one. A ball and a strike to Urrutia, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Grounded out, lined out, flied out. Caleb Joseph on deck, then Manny Machado. Each team with 4 runs and 9 hits. And Urrutia flies one foul, and it's 1-2.
Well, Urrutia has just been tardy all series.
That's got only 5 innings plus out of Noah Syndergaard tonight. He gave up 3 runs, 8 hits. Logan Verrett got 3 outs without giving up a base runner. Logan Verrett gave up a home run to Adam Jones, or Hansel Robles gave up a home run to Adam Jones that tied the game, and then Tyler Clippard worked a 1-2-3-8. So each team now has used 5 pitchers tonight. One-two.
Hit in the air, deep left field. Back goes Kadire, back near the wall, and it's out of here. And the Orioles win the game. Henry Urrutia with his first major league home run, and the Orioles win in walk-off fashion, 5-4, to get a split of the 2-game series. It was Urrutia's 77th major league at bat, his first big league home run, and it's a walk-off to the opposite field to give the Orioles their 3rd home run of the night and a 5-4 win.
Up, fastball up, belt high, and this ballpark right here, that's not a home run in most parks, but it is here, and it's a game winner.
So Henry Urrutia gets the Orioles their first win against the Mets since 2009. Mets have beaten the Orioles 9 straight times, but Urrutia happy to be drenched as the Orioles come back twice to tie with home runs by Scope and Jones, and they get the game winner from Urrutia leading off in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, it's a tough loss for the Metsies.
Mets have now lost 4 of their last 5. As you look at the game summary, Carlos Torres faces 1 batter, gives up the game winner. So the Mets bullpen gets outpitched tonight, as was the case all weekend against Pittsburgh, and the Orioles win this one 5-4. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Budweiser. Still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. By Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop for untouchable values at the touch of a button at mybobs.com. By Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. By the NYCB family of banks. Is that good? And by Tri Honda. Hurry to your local Tri Honda dealer for great deals on the 2015 models. Final score tonight, the Orioles 5 and the Mets 4. The Orioles and Mets split 2 games. Mets get tomorrow off. They open their series at Coors Field on Friday night against the Rockies with Bartolo Colon on the mound. Our coverage begins Friday night at 7:30 right here on SNY. Orioles able to celebrate a walk-off win. Henry Urrutia with his first big league home run. Now for Keith Hernandez, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen in Baltimore. Time for WB Mason post-game live. Let's join Gary Apple and Nelson Figueroa in the studio.